Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 10 of Direwolf20's FortressCraft Evolve series. I am apparently about to get attacked. That's cool. So I've been smelting ores. Where is this attack coming from? Anybody see any bugs flying around just yet? I guess we'll see them soon. Couple minor upgrades to the base, obviously. I've been smelting a bunch of tin and copper here, as you can see. I've got my tin and copper that my spider bot's walking over here, helping to defend my base against whatever nasties are headed my way. So we've got tin and copper and iron and lithium coming up. I do have to sort out my iron and lithium line, but I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to handle that, and that's something that we're working on over here. I'm working on some upgrades that I need. So you can see I've added even more power to shoot its way into the batteries for the laboratory here. And speaking of, I might need another set of these guys, but it looks like we have enough intermediate experimental thingies going on right now, so that's cool. Not 100% sure about this wave of enemies that's headed my way. Let's see what this spider bot's checking out. Maybe he's heading over to where the enemies are coming from. Where you going, buddy? What's going on over here? Some giant wasps? Oh yeah, there he is. Definitely some wasps. There we go. Here they come. Alright, so now that I know that they're coming in this direction, I think this is the only direction that I really don't have defenses on. So if you look at my base, you'll see that I've got like defenses on pretty much 3 out of the 4 corners here. So we've got this corner is 1, this corner is 2, and then this corner is 3, and they happen to be coming down the corner that I don't have defenses on, but I think I've at least got power gen here, and that should help out. Nice. So that'll defend me against stuff in this direction. Perfect. Meanwhile, smelting a bunch of tier 2 ores. Let's see how I'm doing on those, by the way. Whoa, I've got over 100 of these things smelted already? Nice. I'm just making a few trips up and down. Everything's manual at the moment still, but that's something we're going to work on today. What I'd like to do today is plan out exactly how I want to handle some of the smelting that I'm going to do. We mentioned that this would be like a general smelting area, and I'm going to tidy this up. There's a couple things that we need to work towards, though, in order to really be able to manipulate and do what we want. So we've definitely got copper and tin coming up this way. This is going to be an iron and lithium line. So what I'm thinking is maybe to here we could have like another smelter with a hopper here that's set to remove only. Where's a hopper? That would be cool. Right? So that this thing, the way this will work is this will be able to pull out of this guy, no problem. That should be fine. So that would be that, and then we could have another hopper. So let's get a storage hopper, because what we've noticed is, in general, it seems that the tier 2 smeltering operation can handle 2 ores at a time, but if you feed it 3 ores at a time, it becomes backlogged. So my plan is to have copper and tin going into this line. We'll have iron and lithium going into this line, and then this will still be a manual stuff for, nice, take that stuff down, would you, lasers? This will still be the manual process for the tier 2 ores until we get around to automating them coming up from downstairs. Does that sound like a kind of a cool plan? I hope that it does, because that's pretty much the plan that I've worked out. So this will instead become a straight line that just goes straight into there. And that should be really easy to do. In fact, I'm probably just going to remove these for the time being so that copper and tin continues to roll, and then we'll do some other stuff. So this guy can probably go away. We're not going to need him much anymore. That should be good. Yeah, I think this will be cool. So there's a couple things we need to do with our copper and tin. Well, the copper and tin line can stay as is, but the iron and lithium line is going to have to change because we want both ores to come up. And we're basically going to merge them like we did down here, just down at the bottom, and then we're going to have rapid transport all the way up to the top. I think that's going to work out for us. I mean, it could stay slow, but I wanted it to be rapid. And it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So if we wanted a bunch of rapid transport, first we're going to have to craft a bunch of those. So we've got 50 already, and I can do like 1, 2, 3. Now we've got 131. Nice. I'll take that. So we've got plenty of the tier 2 conveyor belts. What else are we going to want here? This guy's cruising. We're going to want another smelter, but I'll handle that once I handle the automation. There's one important item that I'm kind of hintity hint waiting for, advanced logistics. So we're going to need a few more intermediate experimental pods. Hopefully, how many do we have in here? Would be nice to know. Let's like clean up our inventory a bit so that I can kind of get a good idea of what I've got in terms of experimental pods. If I straighten out my inventory when I clean this out, we'll see. I've got 4 intermediate experimental pods, and that's exactly what I need. Awesome. So let's put these back in here, along with these and these, just so I knew what was in there. One of the things that's a little bit tricky is figuring out like what items are in a hopper, because like there's really no interface that you can see what's inside them. All it really tells you is what the last item that was inserted or removed was on the inventory there. So this guy's cruising. We just need a little bit more, and you can see like I wanted to speed up the processing of this power stuff, so that's why I've got all these generators running and all these now. There's really, I think, 4 more generators in total. Yeah, all touching this hopper that holds 2 coal. And that's just a little. So that's all that I've really done on the base. So let's wait for this to finish, because the advanced logistics upgrade is going to hook me up. I think I also, I think it was off camera that I finished the process for the next tier of research. So we did intermediate minor upgrades, I think, or whatever minor upgrade we did before didn't give us the tier 3 smelting process, which I thought it did, but it didn't. We do get fusion drill, which gives us 1600% increase of collection of ores, but I don't really need those right now. It also gave us the geological surveyor, which we might want to check out later when we can make something called a quarry, which sounds and is awesome. You know what I wouldn't mind doing? I've got the research points for it. Let's real quick do upgraded power grid, because that's one of the few that we can do in here. Advanced power grid is going to require the laboratory, and I think pretty much everything else does at this point, except for the aesthetics one, but I'll get around to aesthetics in a bit. So we've got a couple kinds of organic lenses we can make now, and that's pretty cool. So organic lenses use items that are dropped by the enemies that attack our base and some enemies underground. One of the other things we should be able to craft now is, ooh, solar panels. Nice. That's cool, but look how expensive they are. And they only operate during the day. But they do collect more power than the pyrothermic generator. So they're better than the pyrothermic generator. They use solar power. They cost a lot of ingredients, including gold. And they only operate during the day, so that's something to keep in mind. We also now have access to the Mark II laser energy transmitter and power storage. These guys are cool. So power storage requires 4 Mark I power storages and just 5 tin bars, so actually not too hard to make. The laser energy Mark II, though, requires 32 nickel and titanium each. So the energy transmitters are very expensive. The power storage blocks, not terrible. We're going to hold off on making any of these, though, because we don't really need that. Soon I'm going to want Mark II power transfer. They can transfer a lot more power than the Mark I. I think it tells you on here that it transfers, that's power storage. This guy transfers maximum power transfer rate 66.7 per second. That's pretty cool. And it's still a range of 64. Whereas the Mark I can only transfer like 10 per second. So a little bit more than 6 times the amount of transfer. Nice, look at all this good loot we're getting. Good job, Laser. I'm glad I put you there. You're doing a great job. All right, so that's what we're working on. This guy's got, ooh, just one more? Nice. I'm gonna charge him so that we can quickly get this done, and then we can see what kind of awesome upgrade we get as a result of this thing. So come on, almost there. I'll drain some of you. And you go recharge for me, would you, Arthur? Thanks, buddy.
Energy reappropriation in progress.
You're very kind, Arthur. Almost done here, buddy? We're getting there. Nice. And this is done. Nice. Advanced logistics. Very cool. We're going to want to take a look at what new recipes we might have access to. So we've got mass storage block. Pretty neat. This is a multi-block that can store items. I haven't played with it too much. When I did play with it, it wasn't something that I needed too badly. The mass storage input and output are part of that multi-block. Macerator we had before, auto upgrader. This is exactly what I wanted to make, so let's craft that. It currently doesn't have an icon because it's one of the newer items, and we also got, let's see, chargeable explosive, Mark 1 robot arm. Robot arms are neat. They let you pick up items off, and you can specify which type of ore gets pulled off a conveyor line. That's something we might use later for like awesome stuff. But for now, let's go find that auto upgrader. We only need 1 light machine housing, 3 servo motors, and 8 copper wires. Shouldn't be a problem. Lightweight machine housing and 3 servo motors. Should be easy peasy. Auto upgrader complete. Nice. I'm excited about the auto upgrader, in case you guys couldn't tell. All right, let's go downstairs and set it up. So the auto upgrader is great when you want to upgrade your conveyor lines. So I just want to take a quick look at all these, right? So these are all the tier 1 conveyor lines, which are pretty cheap to make, as we know. I'm just making sure that I don't have any tier 2s along the way. I'm pretty sure I don't. So let's pop downstairs. And we're going to pop down here. Everything looks good. Cool. And we're going to want to set up this thing. So let's temporarily remove this guy. I'm also going to remove these and this, because I want to set this up in a very specific way. So the auto upgrader will follow a line of conveyors, okay? So exactly like this. And it will upgrade every conveyor along the line. Now, I've noticed it tends to drop the ores that are currently on there, so be prepared for that. Get ready to run around and pick it up. I'm pretty sure it does that. Now, I'm going to want this auto upgrader to start probably right about here. So let's put this guy here. I think he's currently facing down. So if I were to put this here and this here. Now, he works just like the one that places, the auto builder. All you need to do really is place a hopper adjacent to it with the appropriate stuff inside. So I'm going to put 100 conveyor belts in there. Boom. And this guy should start cruising, if I'm not mistaken. I am apparently telling a lie. He might need to face this way. Oh, there we go. Hey, I did it. Look, it's going. Boom. Cruising, right? So it's taking care of it all. It is, I think, dropping the iron, but that's not a big deal. So the auto upgrader is upgrading the entire line, and we can see that we've got 30-some conveyor belts left in here. I'm going to go ahead and place a few more conveyor belts. Right now, I think it's just a little bit... It's actually doing a pretty good job. Now, I'm hoping once it stops, I can go home and craft more of these conveyor belts, and it'll continue where it left off. I think that it will. There we go. Let's see how far it got. Nice, we actually made pretty good progress. How's this guy up here? There shouldn't be a Minoc on my line. I thought I had perfect coverage of that thing. We got about halfway up. Maybe a little bit more than halfway. So we're probably going to need close to 100 more of those. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem, because all it really means is I need about 100 copper and 100 tin. And we're doing really good on copper and tin. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Haha. Nice. So... about 100 more of these. I'm going to go ahead and make 150, just because. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just so we have enough. And this should upgrade the whole line. Just hoping it picks up where it left off. Also, is that Minoc still there, or did the laser take care of it? Oh, he's still up there. What is up with you, Mr. Minoc? You are really inconvenient for me. I'm surprised you're actually there. guessing you're like just barely outside the range of this thing. I don't suppose that if I moved this to, say, here, you know what I could do? Well, let's try it here. We'll see if he takes that out. If not, I have an idea or two on how I could fix that. A not too expensive way either. So let's put these in here. Hopefully, nice, he picks up where he left off. That's good. So we'll see the storage used dropping there. I'm guessing at 100. I have no idea, to be honest with you, if that's an accurate number or not. But I'm going to throw the last 50 in. And when that storage used stops ticking down, we can kind of assume, especially because this thing's full on power, that it's not a power issue. So we're down to about 61. So I was actually close. I think we used about 89 of them. Nice. So I'm going to snag these conveyors. I'm going to leave this here for the time being because I want to make sure that it did, in fact, upgrade everything. Did you take care of my Minoc problem? Oh, of course not. I can solve that, though. Nice. Just a few items to collect here, don't mind me. Collecting all this iron that dropped off the conveyors. But you can see that they are, in fact, all upgraded. Nice, right? So then I'll have an upslope here, and we'll have the high speeds here, here, and here. And that looks pretty good, right? So while I'm here, I'm going to craft a couple more power storage blocks. And you know what? Because I'm low on them, I'm going to craft some power transmitters too, just in case I need them down there for what I'm going to tweak with my turret. So my plan is, hopefully this is only off by like 1. And if that's the case, then I should be able to do something like... Caught myself. Nice. Let's do... You come here. If I put this here and then the turret on top, nice, perfect. That was my plan. Nice and simple. Okay, now for the last piece of this setup, which should be getting everything running again. So if we were to have, I'm going to remove these because they're not actually needed. So this can go back to being a downward slope. And we're probably just going to want tier 1 conveyors here. And this feeding into this one, right? So now this will alternate lithium and iron. Cool. And that should be pretty good. So that should automate our lithium and iron. We might improve this later, but for now, it should be pretty cool. I'm thinking that the slow speed conveyors will be good because we want to make sure that they do alternate and take turns. I'm thinking if they were both high speeds coming into this line, they might not alternate. We might just get a flood of iron and no lithium, for example. So this method that we have should be pretty cool. And then the lithium and iron will work their way up here. I do love the conveyor. You know what? Let's snag while I'm here. Whoosh. Cool. Our nickel, our titanium, and our gold. Beautiful. All right, meet you back up at the base to test this all out. All right, guys, we are back. So I just wanted to show you what I built a little bit off camera because much of it is similar to what you've already seen me build on camera. So if we come up here, you'll notice that my iron and lithium is coming in beautifully. It's doing a great job. So every you know, second or so, we're getting iron and lithium. And it looks like this conveyor line is empty all the time, and it kind of is. But notice that it's about the same speed as this conveyor line. So about the same time that we get a new set of copper and tin, we're getting a new set of iron and lithium. Because down at the base where our iron and lithium ore miners are, is where we're getting the slowdown. So it's the same setup as this, just back at the base downstairs. So now I've got a hopper, which is storing a bunch of ores, set to remove only. We've got a tier 2 smelter here, right? So this is the smelter with the tier 2 speed upgrade on top. We've got the storage hopper that's getting iron bars and lithium bars. So this is the output set to add only. So the hopper, the machine can only remove from this hopper and add to this hopper. We've got about 80 in there. So hopefully we should see this number start to drop. And if I'm right, we probably will. This copper and tin ore does definitely seem like it's dropping. And this thing's working beautifully. So I set up the same system. I don't know if I need 2 generators to power this thing. I may not. If we look at this guy, recently in a patch, you'll notice down at the bottom it says 100% power, and it tells you how much power per second you need for this machine to run. And it's mostly about the temperature needing to be up to snuff, right? So once the temperature gets high enough, it zaps some power out to reheat it, and then it can smelt. So that's pretty much how that works. To get up to power, we need a little bit more, but I think we could probably get away with just 1 generator here. So I'm probably going to try, for the meantime, removing this generator from this guy, and I'm going to remove probably this generator here. And this is just a manual storage of coal. I haven't been automating this coal yet, but eventually we're going to move this whole setup. Unfortunately, I can't right now. See? Too hard. You're going to need to upgrade the build gun further in order to move this. So in order to move some of the advanced machines, like I said, you need to upgrade the build gun. No can do. And then on the back here, I upgraded these to tier 2 conveyors. And we've got copper bars and a bunch of stuff in here. So you'll notice, if you watch, we're getting 1 from the conveyor in the back. Now there's a visual thing here. It always looks like it's coming from the hopper in the back, but that's just whenever an item lands on the conveyor, it lands on the very back of the conveyor. So even if it's getting pulled out of here, it visually looks like it's coming from the very back of the conveyor. But trust me, like, one of those items is coming from this hopper. That was copper, right? So, and this is going to be, it looks like iron, and then the next one will be tin and lithium. So that's a tin bar, and then a bright white one will be lithium. See? Nice. And we're getting a bunch of stuff. So we've got a pretty well automated system here, guys. And even if I'm not at my base at the moment, like, this will fill up, and then this will fill up with just tin and copper, and this will fill up with just lithium and iron. So this looks like a pretty nice mining operation that we've got here for the tier 1 ores. We shouldn't have too much of a problem, even though I'm getting low on copper and tin because I just crafted a ton of stuff. But shortly, that will be less of a problem for us. In the meantime, I've been manually smelting my tier 2 ores. Hilariously, we have more tier 2 ores than we have of tier 1, but that's just because I, you know, have been using the tier 1s a lot. I just crafted like 200 and something conveyor belts that use 1 copper and tin each, so that happened. So let's see, we've got, I decided to start another project here. So if we take a look, you'll see that I'm currently researching metal alloys, which require basic experimental pods, which we're also crafting some more of over here. This guy should be working on copper plates. Nice. Actually, yeah, we're doing good here. And there's still some copper bars in there. So this thing is handling it all. We're pretty much doing as much as we can to dump power into this guy. Looking good. All right. What else do we have going on at the moment? I think that's pretty much it. So handled the processing of ores, tier 1, done. Tier 2, still manual, but we're going to automate that eventually. For now, I'm going to come back because I want to wait a few minutes before I want to get this kind of done, because I think metal alloys is what I'm going to need to get the upgraded build gun, but it's going to take a little bit. And in the meantime, I'm going to look and see at what else I can work on. All right, guys, making our first set of XL experimental pods. And clearly they're nickel, because the experimental pod is nice and bright green to give you that indication. So working on a little bit more of this stuff, and we'll be back in a minute. All right, guys, we are back, and think we've only got one more basic experimental pod required for this research. I've been kind of toying with how I want to handle power gen, because I want to get away from things like this. Now that we've got access to the tier 2 power transmitters, just trying to figure out the best / most efficient way to manage all the power that we're going to soon be able to transfer around. But it's a little bit tricky because I want to do it in a nice, balanced way that makes sense. So this thing should have enough power to do this all in one go, because he's got like a big backlog. That's why I like having the batteries here, because it really, they chews through the batteries quickly, but boom, metal alloys research complete. Nice. I don't know if that gives me direct access. Oh, it does. Build gun version 2. Nice, that's cool. It also gives me access to the steel cutter head, which improves your ore extractor efficiency by 20%, reducing the amount of ore wasted. But it does wear out. Unlike the cutters that increase the speed, these guys make you not waste as much ore. So remember I told you like they're 10% efficient, so you really only get about 10%. This is the first tier of item that gives you better. It gives you 20%. Organic cutter heads improve efficiency to 50%, but they require some organic components that we don't have a super great access to. We've been getting a lot of organic components, but most of them have been ruined versions like this, right? These are all ruined and whatnot. But some of them, I don't know that we've gotten too many that aren't ruined, but there's like a couple if we look that are like not, like this one here, pristine like chitin, right? Nice, that's cool. So we've got a couple of those, but most of the others are ruined. But there's a way to take all these ruined ones, and I think that's what cryo storage is going to be about. We can take all the ruined material and convert it to be, you know, not so ruined. Wow, I've got a lot of that then. If neat. All right, so that's what I think cryogenics is all about. But we have access to the tier 2 build gun, so let's get cracking on that thing, because it's something I definitely want to have pretty much right now. So we're going to need build gun V2, lithium, nickel, titanium, craft, done. Oh yeah. Tier 2 build gun. This, mostly, I think really all it really does is allow you to move certain machines that you wouldn't otherwise be able to move, specifically things like these ore smelters. I'm not needing to move them right now, but the fact that I can is very beneficial to me, and it's something we're probably going to want to relocate. So eventually, I'm going to want over here to be like my main processing line, but we'll get to that as we I'm probably going to want to craft a couple more ore smelters. I'm already at the point where even though I've got such a huge amount of copper and tin coming in, I don't have enough. I've used so much. Remember, it costs 70 copper to make 10 of the basic things, right? Like, let's look at some of the more advanced researches that we have coming up ahead of us. So if we look at our projects, cryogenics requires 50 basic and 50 simplified. That's a lot. That's a lot of bars. So what we're going to want to do is probably pretty soon, ooh, crystal dynamics, nice. There's a lot of research. Rolling stock we have access to now, advanced miner upgrades, advanced power grid. There's a lot of cool things that we can research. However, they're all going to become more and more and more and more expensive. So what we're going to want to do is probably have 1 smelter per bar. Like right now we're doing 2 ingots per smelting, but if we had 1 per smelting, we could probably upgrade like the copper and tin lines to be all the tier 2 speeds, and then we could even upgrade the cutters inside, and that would just be awesome. Speaking of things I want to upgrade, let's take a look at those new things that we can make. So let's research our recipe. Steel cutter head, I want to research you. Might as well research, I don't know that I need the crystal cutter head yet, but soonish. Organic cutter head, diamond focusing lens, that all looks cool. You know what else is actually pretty good? Yeah, that occurs to me. There might be a new power source we can unlock soon. Ooh, and I think that might be in the tier 3 advanced power grid. I have to check, but I think tier 3 advanced power grid might help out with that, or crystal dynamics, because there's a new type of power that we're going to have access to soon, I think. But yeah, let's check out that steel cutter head. So steel's pretty easy to make, as I recall. So the steel cutter head just requires 3 low-grade steel bars and a little bit of iron and lithium, and low-grade steel bars is just iron and nickel combined. Let's make a handful of these, right? So if we wanted to make, for example, 6 steel cutter heads, that ain't terrible hard to make. I would like to put these... Now remember, it doesn't give you like a huge efficiency boost, but it definitely will make your ore veins last longer. So for example, if we scan this one, right, we'll see that we're already down to about 78,000 ore. So typically, that means we would only get about 7,000 coal out of this. However, by placing, that's the energy transmitter, into here, this guy, that means we're going to get even more ore. Now we're going to get twice as much out of this ore vein, right? So it still says 78, but instead of getting 7,800, we're going to get like 15,600, right? So that just gives you, it doesn't mine faster, just there's less waste. So I think you'll still get the 4 coal because we don't even have a drill motor in this thing. But speaking of, we're actually getting a little bit shy. Like, you notice my hopper there wasn't very full. I think with all the smelting and stuff we've got going on, especially with all the power we've got going on over here, I think we're getting to the point where we should probably at least put a basic drill motor in there, and I'm thinking even an enhanced one. So that's not a terrible idea. See, I'm already getting really low on copper. So I definitely want to get to the point. Maybe that's something we'll work towards next episode. So let's get our 16x and drill it. You'll see now we make 16 ore per process, right? So it's pretty darn quick. Obviously, it's going to use a little bit more power. We can see there power demand about 1.94 per second. Not terrible, though. Definitely still more than enough power from the tier 1s to handle that demand. Cool. So I think what I'm going to do is wrap up the episode here. I also changed this to a storage hopper because I want to be able to snag coal and just have it in my inventory whenever I want it. So that's something that I'm going to work towards. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap up here. Next episode, we'll come back. We might increase the speed and efficiency through which we do like some of the smelting and stuff. And then, I don't know. I want to get more power sources going on here, but I need to double check which one I need to research. I think it might be advanced power grid. I'm not sure, but we have access to another type of material that we can hopefully start mining soon, I think. But we'll see. I don't know. We might actually be, now that I'm thinking about it, we might be a little bit ways off from that alternative power source, so we think we probably want to stick with the coal for now. But I definitely want to look towards solar as well. It might not be a terrible idea to get like a solar panel or something like that. Anyway, wrapping up the episode now. Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will come back next time. And there's a lot more infrastructure to build here to get some cool stuff going on. All right, take it easy.